It's about that time, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go, here we go. The Sinclair Show, running to your friends. Come on, come on, come on. So the moment of the show tonight, mailbag is on night. Once again, it's on. You're still trouble in your home. Got your tripping, don't know right from wrong. Send your letters to the show so we can talk you through. Get the answers to your questions because we speak that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health. Faith is on the fence, but you believe that Jesus knows your well. Keep it moving, spirit flowing because we're here to provide someone to lean on when you're falling. Wednesday 8 and 9 and it's on. Once again, it's on. You're listening to the only morning show when people at night. That's right. It is the Sinclair Show coming to you live and direct. That's right, people. Sometimes you got to get direct with folks. So that's what we're doing tonight. First of all, I want to thank all of you all who continue to send your mailbag questions and comments. Because you know what? A lot of y'all comments and things are very, very interesting. That's just facts. So I definitely want all of y'all for sending them and we all being able to sit down and chit chat together. That's what it's all about. Now, there's a lot of y'all up here tonight. We're going to see who it is, where they at, what they doing, what it could be. And once we find what it could be, we're going to find out where we go from here. How about that, people? I'm just letting y'all know. That's the kind of things we rock with, all right? First of all, let me see who is already in the public domain. First person out tonight was who? None other than Miss Gwendolyn, Lady Elegance Pritchard. She's saying good evening to y'all from Huntsville, Alabama. And she claims, this is her claim, that it that's what she said it's the Rocket City. I ain't saying that. All right. Then you know. What's going on, Nikki Carter? Glad to see you this evening. We have the regal Miss Annie Moore. Outstanding. Oh, Nikki Carter said the haircut is cute. See, every now and then I hit a winner. I don't know if that means in the past my hair ain't been, but it is what it is. I had to get back to a more restrained hairdo because, you know, some of the places where I go do business, you know, the ponytail might not have been serving me at my most gracious amount, but that is what it is. So look, people, we got a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. People, I think, who is that right there? That's Taya Matthews. What's going on? Glad that you in the house. There's our legal beagle, Cassandra. What's going on? Definitely we glad to see you. James Key, what's going on, man? Man, we got a lot of people stumbling in, if you will. That's okay. Some of y'all got some JOBs that you go to work at. So I appreciate the fact that y'all reach out to a brother and that y'all been coming on for all these years. That's what it's all about. So, first of all, we're going to send a shout out to our tad bit under the weather, old Chester DeLoach, waiting for him to come on the show and spread my wings. Yeah, that right there. Speedy recovery, if you will. Jamie Foxx as well. You know, we wishing him a speedy recovery. I know I met Jamie Foxx about 4 times, I believe. Pretty cool dude, you know. Let me see. Oh, y'all, there go my mama. Hey, mama. Y'all, I bet right now my mama sitting at the crib talking about, don't be talking about their mama, because my mama called me today. But mama, when you called me, I was busy with some young folks. I had today to have some young and since I was doing good with the kids, I had to keep focused. So that's what I did. Who else is out here? Y'all. There he is. Okay. a lot for his country. But some of us, we don't really do nothing. Y'all be having like entire conversations, which is really kind of strange. Some of y'all, I think y'all come up here just to talk to each other. Y'all ain't really coming up here to roll with, with the crew or whatever. So anyway, I'm looking through some things because believe it or not, people, I have learned there are folks that be communicating with me through other means. And so so what I try to do is I try to make sure I reach out to them as well, so everybody will feel like they getting a little piece of the action, if you will. But anyway, so we done sent the shout out to some people. We done recognize everybody that's done popped up. I ain't gonna show y'all all the stuff that they talking about because many of them that's up here tonight talking about much to do about nothing. So that's how we get down with that. But past all that, first of all, how are you all doing tonight? That's something I'm gonna need to start doing. I need to start asking y'all how y'all doing. I don't mean to just be drinking water while I'm on the show, but I went to my doctor. My doctor told me I need to drink more water. I'm like, more than what, man? More than what I'm already drinking? I'm talking about drink a gallon. I'm like, man, you must be out your mind. Drink a gallon of water today. Then how am I going to fit in all of the stuff that I'm supposed to be consuming? Drink a gallon of water. I'm going to be full. I don't want to be full. Some things that I shouldn't. Anyway, so you guys are good, doing good. I'm doing good. Let's see what we're going to talk about tonight, because there's actually some pretty interesting topics out. I know which one I'm going to start with, people, because I know it's going to kill up a lot of time. This is one of my favorite things that seeing across in the world. Hold on, what is Carter talking about? You see, a gallon, then you're going to be running to the bathroom. They ain't got nothing to do with you. Mind your business. Matter of fact, you know what? I apologize. I think I'm becoming a better person, y'all. Because when I know I say, damn, stars on the spot without even being asked to, I apologize. I probably shouldn't have said that. I said, not bad, a great day. All right, great. So, the first topic tonight. Ooh, oh, before I get into all of this, let me tell y'all what I did have a chance to do today. I had a chance to go out and spend the day in Enfield, North Carolina. Now, let me be fair with y'all. I went to Enfield to spend about a couple of hours out there. Me and guess who else I saw today out there? Mimmy Mims, the Mimster. I don't know where the Mimster at tonight. He must be hiding because he did a good deed. But anyway, I saw the Mimster out there. We were out there with some young minority students. Now, I don't know how many white students are there, but I know the ones that we had that we were able to hang out with today were some minority students. And people, let me tell you what I'm starting to realize everywhere I go. Our young minority students got a lot of talent. There was this one dude, he got a little curly hair, remind me of probably a young me, very astute, I might say, had all the right answers. I was like, man, that's strange. This dude right here got all the right answers. But we had a very good time. Young people are smarter than what we give them credit for. They doing a lot of good things. And in the end, if we do our part to help nurture, if we do our part to help nurture young minds, you all would be amazed of what we could do and what we could accomplish, but even greater, what they could do and what they could accomplish. I am convinced that they want to be better than what they are. Sometimes they don't know how. And we have to be that linchpin that allows them to realize if you take 2 steps, we're going to walk with you. We don't need to make young people think that they've got to do it all by themselves. But I saw a lot of solid young men and women. I ain't even know the whole group. There's one girl I said, I was asking them, what do you want to do? Big Rod, what it is, what it do, what it will be tonight on the show. Glad to see Big Rod in the house. So I want, again, I'm belabored, but I ain't want to take and say to you all, ask yourself, you doing enough to help young people nurture what they really want to be? Because when I went around the room and asked each one of them, hey, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? I heard a thing I didn't even know. Two of them said they wanted to be artists. I thought they was talking about entertainers. They were talking about actual artists. They wanted to be a wrestler. People started laughing. I was like, don't laugh at them. If you're a good wrestler, you can make good money. But we had some that wanted to be CEOs. I heard 3 or 4 young CEOs, and that's what we should be nurturing. Whatever they're now selling bubble gum and be the CEO today, and they might be manufacturing bubble gum 20 years from now. Well, let's keep that in mind and make sure that we're going and spending some time with them. All of y'all got some time. Just go sit with them, talk to them. All that being said, let's talk about this other young person. Woo-wee, look at y'all. For all my listeners who are outside of the state of North Carolina, let me tell you what popped off in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Now, Rocky Mount, North Carolina it ain't that big, but it ain't that small, but it got some hoodness to it. Some hood-ish things happen down there. And I don't know if y'all have been on social media, but I watched in the news, wasn't just on social media, the news. But I seen this young girl. You know how old folks say it hurt my heart? I guess the substitute teacher must have confiscated her cell phone or something. She took something from the girl, and the girl believed it was okay to walk up and not only get in her face, but to swing on her. Folks, let me tell y'all what I learned from that. I learned, James Key said it had the highest murder rate in the state so far this year. They almost had another one to add to the list. The substitute, and matter of fact, parents, let me say this. I want to make this clear to you all so you know the difference between the two. Remind your kids when you sending them little bad jokers off to school that a substitute teacher may or may not care if they come back to that school again. So you can't try with a substitute teacher the same thing that some of y'all have tried with regular teachers with some minor amount of success. Because when I tell you, it warmed my heart to see that substitute teacher put them paws on that student. She beat the brakes off that student. She beat that girl up. And inside, I cried with tears of joy. You know why, people? Let me say this why. And I want y'all to hear me. And I don't care what you feel and think about me when I say it. You need to teach your kids that you can't walk around and roll up on adults running their mouth because you allow them to talk crazy to you at your house. That's your business. Because you allow your kids to threaten you at your house. That's your business. But when they go out to these schools, when they go out to these malls, when they go out to these businesses was there, they supposed to get that substitute power. And that's exactly what she caught. All them uppercuts. She caught her. When I looked, all I saw was on the ground, getting smashed out. And that's what she deserved. Because I'm tired of the disrespect. Kids don't have to have no respect because you all don't make them have respect. Everything goes with you because you are the friend. Them folks at that school is not your kid's friend. And I'm saying this to y'all. Okay, Chester was up on his feet for a little while today. First time since the accident, starting rehab therapy. Absolutely. Yeah, we getting down. Gwendolyn said, I would have done the same thing. I know you would have. You supposed to. What is Nikki Carter talking about? Terrible. What's terrible, Nikki? Is it terrible that I don't care nothing about no job that I'm gonna allow your son or you to put their hands on me and you think I'm just supposed to let it happen? You crazy. I will Mark and come in the door and say hi to him and give him them little smiley before I allow that to happen. You could best believe. Jay Dizzle said he tired of the disrespect too. Supposed to be. Jay Dizzle said you're gonna catch them hands from these young lions around here. Absolutely. Nikki Carter said it's wrong to fight a student like you a child too. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. James said, what's terrible is she told that adult, give me my phone. That's where it started from. But let's go back to this. Let's go back to this ignorance that Nikki Carter said. Fighting a student like a child. It's three things in this world I'm convinced of. And here's my disclaimer I go there. One, I don't believe no man should put his hands on a woman. You want to fight somebody, fight a dude. But I also have said to y'all for years, stop teaching your daughters to swing on dudes. Okay? The second thing, I do not believe and will not stand by coasting with a child putting their hands on an adult. You don't want somebody to beat your child like they're a grown person and tell your child to stay in the child. Let me see. Nigga said the teacher was looking for a fight too. No, she wasn't. She wasn't looking for a fight, but she sure didn't have no problem bringing one to the stage. James said it was self-defense. Nikki Carter, what do you do if a child tries to slap you? Jay Dizzle got an excellent question for that nonsense that Nikki Carter just said. Nikki Carter just want to know, what do you do if a child tries to slap you? Marcus, what up, big dog, Marcus? Say, I always talk self. Leave it. I'd wave. Anymore said, kids think that when they have a substitute teacher, they can run over the class. That sub did the right thing. Y'all hear that wisdom right there? See, some of y'all I brush out because y'all know we might just be in our emotion, but not Annie. Annie Moore is always level-headed. That's what I like right there. Nikki Carter, yes, she was. Nikki Carter, you know what? I never heard you take a position of logic and reasoning when it's got anything. I don't understand it. I just don't. I really don't know what you expect from folks in this world that they supposed to put up with this ignorance out your kids. Big Rod said, I was talking about this with my friend. When a child wants to act like an adult and fight an adult, then you get that adult treatment. Absolutely. Matter of fact, we're going to say it. You went to the adult side of the party and you caught that adult entertainment. You caught them pieces. Here we go. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right, Nikki Carter. I ain't playing with you with that. Because sometimes you lose credibility because you're going to say that she shouldn't have beat that girl like that. Yes, she should have. Yes, she should have. Because I promise you this. Now, I don't know if she's going to ever be a substitute again. But I know for a fact that if for some reason she accidentally gets back into a clash again, I promise you, no. And again, we got to do a better job, people, because we sit around here on the foolishness And we keep coming excuse after excuse after excuse. Why do this? Why they beat her up? Why they do? She should have stomped on her. I'd have kicked her or something. Don't put it on me. It's a tough enough job being a teacher in the first place. Most teachers, not all, there's some bad ones too, but most teachers fight hard to do the right thing in the classroom. Most teachers have an unbelievable task of trying to teach your kids that you haven't taught respect and manners to. If your kid is sitting at the house arguing with you, what you think they doing with the teacher? Because you know they're not worried about the teacher doing anything to you. I'm just saying, let's keep it a stack, people. And so when we start looking at these things and judging the teacher for the assault that she put on that girl, I say good job. Matter of fact, let's all give her a round of applause. That's what you're supposed to do. She did like Margaret Key used to say, I'm going to get you for old and new. She put down the smack on her. Did you smell what she was cooking? I did. She was cooking a sandwich. And ought to. Again, if you don't want to discipline, don't worry about it. Somebody is. All right? Y'all got any more comments on that? Probably not. Because some of y'all, and matter of fact, let me say this. Every time something comes up, we cannot be sitting around trying to come up with an excuse as to why it's happening. I've heard people say, oh, she must have had some mental issues. It was something going on with her. Really? That's just what we doing? Every time a young person does something, we jump down to, oh, they must have had a mental breakdown. You know why you do that? Because you're always looking for a reason that is greater than the fact that ain't nobody ever taught them what respect is. I'm just saying. I don't know why y'all act that way anyway. Some of y'all tripping. Anyway, let's go to something else. Let me see what else we can go to, because I see y'all and y'all feelings. Okay, here goes something right here. Let's see if we can make this one work. All right, so they tell me, I don't know how many of you all know the story about a young man named Ralph WRAL. He was a black teenager who was shot after mistakenly going to the wrong Kansas City resident to pick up his younger sibling. All right. And first of all, matter of fact, thank James Key for sending me this particular story, because I had not paid much attention to it until I had an opportunity to check it out. And then I was actually somewhat taken back to know that the young man had been shot just because he went to a door. Now, from what I understand, the young man was sent to retrieve his siblings. And when he went to retrieve his siblings, he had gotten the address incorrect. Okay? So for all of y'all that thinks, oh, he was just casing the neighborhood, if you will, he was not casing the neighborhood. He got the address wrong. I think James had told me that the guy was supposed to go to street and he went to court, or vice versa. Whatever it was an innocent mistake. And he wound up being shot. And the homeowner wants to plead not guilty. Okay? It says Andrew Lester pleads not guilty in the shooting of Ralph WRAL, who went to the wrong house in Kansas City, Missouri. It says the white homeowner accused of injuring Ralph Yarl, the black teen, who was shot after mistakenly going to the wrong Kansas City resident to pick up his younger siblings. And he pleaded not guilty Wednesday in the shooting that has put renewed focus on stand your ground. Andrew Lester is 80 years old. He appeared briefly before a circuit court judge in Clay County, Missouri, after surrendering to authorities on Tuesday on the charges of assault in the first degree and armed criminal action. He was released on $200,000 bail the same day. Lester, wearing a blue and tan jacket and matching pants, was in the courtroom for less than 10 minutes and was surrounded by 4 guards. He used a cane and limped. I want y'all to think about that. Let's talk here. He shot this young man. Now, of course, the judge ordered him to surrender his passport, said he can't own a firearm. Here's what I think I'm confused about. What did he think was transpiring? That's my first question. Okay. What did he believe? Is he saying he believed that the young man was there to rob him? I'm disconnected from the thought process of this because it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense that he shot this young man who clearly did not have a weapon. And because he did not have a weapon, there should have been no reason. He did not try. He asked, I'm assuming, and I do not know, I'm assuming he would have asked a question. Hey, I'm here to pick up my brother and sister, whatever. But whatever the case was, how did he wind up feeling like it was okay to shoot the young man? Okay. Now, they tell me that, first of all, I've been missing some people. Big Rod says stand your ground is a rule with deference. Nikki Carter says he has dementia. Hey, Tamala Wiggins, glad to see you on the show tonight. James said it has its rules, though. Ty said the kids rang the doorbell, for goodness sake. April Brown, what's going on? She said it happened again, and that young lady died. James said, but he shot him twice, once after he was on the ground. And Miss Wiggins said, how valuable is life now? All right, so let me say this. Lady Elegance Pritchard said, then he said the young man was 6 foot, but he was actually 5'8". So let's answer these questions right quick, people. One, if the man has dementia, does it matter? That's the first thing. 2, if he shot him one time, is there really a difference between you shooting him once or twice? And these are just questions. I'm not projecting any answers. I just really want to know, what do you guys think? I think, while I hate that it happened, I'm more concerned at the point by the fact that the individual with dementia, Big Rod said the police are waiting to hear from the team before they go any further. April said no. I think she's saying no, it doesn't matter that he shot him multiple times. Big Rod said there is a difference. Johnny said he's responsible, period. Johnny, I don't disagree that he's responsible, but I do think that he is responsible for the act, but having dementia does play a role. Because if he has a care provider, then that care provider, amongst anything, should have said, Ms. Wiggins said, why does he have a weapon? Can't justify killing someone just because. Jane said, amazingly, his camera system wasn't working that night. Imagine that. All right, listen, people. I agree that the young man should not have had to go through that. Anymore say he was saying he thought the young man was breaking into his house. The young man rung the doorbell. Hey, I'm agreeing with what you guys are saying, but I do fear that the greater issue, other than him shooting this young man, which is the biggest of concerns, is the man with dementia. If he has a caregiver, they should have removed the weapons. Whether it is the onset of dementia or Alzheimer or whatever, you have to take into consideration, does an individual who has been diagnosed with a condition, should they have weapons in the home? Johnny said, I feel he's faking dementia. Wow. Ms. Wiggins said they done deleted the footage. Ty said, that's my question. Big Rod said his condition would be a grounds for his defense. I agree. James says selective. All I want y'all to think about, in all honesty, is if it was your parent or your grandparent, and if for some reason that this is true, that he had been priorly diagnosed with dementia, is that a grounds to say he should not be in jail, but he may need to be in a medical facility? And mind you, let me say this with all fairness. Nikki Carter said he might get off with his dementia excuse. Ty said, then why does he have access to a weapon? Cassandra says, how do you fake dementia? And these are good questions. I think Cassandra brings up a great point, because it's not whether or not he had dementia after he shot him. It's whether or not he had been diagnosed before he shot him, if that makes sense. Ms. Wiggins said, my parents or grandparents would forget where their weapon was. April said, when my grandfather developed dementia, we immediately moved his weapon. Johnny said, yes, the prison infirmary. I'm not with you, Johnny, on this one. Big Rod said, if a person is on the grounds, they are no longer considered a threat. These are some of the things you have to understand as the gun owner. Big Rod, you're absolutely correct. But we must go back to the point, Big Rod, that this guy has dementia. And you're not going to be thinking the same. I believe wholeheartedly that people can have setbacks. Marilyn Marshall is watching. Glad to see you out there. Ms. Wiggins said, how does he remember where the weapon is? I don't know, because none of us know the full impacts of dementia. Having dementia doesn't mean that you can't remember anything. James said, but the first was in the head. Then he said he's going to get state-sponsored care. Listen, people, and I am certainly, most certainly, not saying to any of you that I think there is a justification for it. Matter of fact, y'all let me forget that my brother Ben Sizemore was in the house. Man, y'all, I apologize, brother Sizemore. I should have flipped through earlier, and ain't nobody let me know. Uh-oh, there's my armor bearer, Essie Shepherd. Glad to see y'all. Let me tell y'all what I think. And I don't know for sure, because I've dealt with counseling for a long time. I have both had the opportunity to recommend people to go see therapists. I go see a therapist. It is hard to be in a profession by which you help others with their emotional issues and never find yourself there. So what I do believe is that our opinion is based on the fact that it's a white man that shot a young minority male. Nicky Carter said probably he was reliving the 1940s, and he was a vet. Now, does that change your mind knowing that this man was a veteran? How does that feel about it? Some of y'all ain't gonna play no way because y'all ain't gonna care. But there's so many ways that we probably have to unpack this. James said, not at all. So let me ask y'all a question. Okay, Cassandra said the man was 84 and may have dementia. This is my opinion, was an unfortunate incident that will impact both parties because of the times we live in. People are so quick to judgment without the facts. I agree with the Legal Beagle tonight. As much as I am saddened, and remember, the young man was not killed. The young man is still alive. It doesn't lessen the fact that he got shot twice. But I want you all to understand, Ms. Wiggins said, guess shooting black people is like shooting deer. Now, Ms. Wiggins, I don't think you're being fair on that. And I know you to be a very, very responsible and well thought out person, but I don't think you're being fair on that one. I don't believe that he saw him as a deer or treated him like that. But I have been around enough people who have dementia to know that they are not within their minds and they don't see what we see. James said, but sent him home 2 hours after the shooting. No, James, it wasn't 2 hours after the shooting. He was arrested one day. He went before the magistrate the next day, and then he received bail. Ty says, having dementia is not a big deal to me, as the fact that he's white and for all intents and purposes could receive unfair preferential treatment. White privilege is a thing. Wow. Well, Taya, let me ask this question. If he was a black man that had been diagnosed with dementia prior to the shooting, would it make a difference to you then? I think we all know that even our Anglo-Saxon brothers and sisters know that there is such a thing as white privilege. There are significant people who have received unfair advantages just because of the color of their skin. James said he went home that night. All right, if you say so. Cassandra said because the young man was black and the older man was white, this was instantly about race. And that's the unfortunate part, because it should not have been instantly about race. Ms. Wiggins said, if not him, whoever is responsible for his care should be charged as neglect. I can go with that. Ty said, if he was a black man, he would not have been released. So Ty, is your issue more about him getting bail, or is your issue with the fact that he shot him and he was white? Cassandra said, in Missouri, you can have a 24-hour hold. It is not required that the law do it. All right. And again, these things matter. How we view things as human beings matters, because we take that energy to the next level. And I am sincere when I tell you, while I dislike that race has become a part of this, oh, yeah, y'all, there go your boy Mimi Mims, a.k.a. the Mimster. He said mental illness is extremely sensitive because it targets everyone. And that's the thing. It's like we are going to make this 84-year-old white man a racist because he shot a young black man. We're not making him a racist because we have any facts to depict that. I've not seen anything that indicated that he had did something racially motivated prior to this. Do you think that a racist would wait 84 years to turn into a racist? Ms. Wiggins said, this is, hold on, let me see what she said. This is good. Sorry, can't stay longer. Well, you know what, Ms. Wiggins? Just the fact that you stopped by is enough. We love you. Keep it moving. Nikki Carter said, maybe he was back in the day. Rod said, according to CNN report, he did get released in 2 hours. We are now looking at everything through the color lenses these days. Ty said, I'm just mad about the whole situation, making a mistake and going to the wrong location to do something is non-malicious, not result in death. I agree wholeheartedly that it should not. Ty said, to be fair, it's really hard for me to be objective. And I can respect that. Johnny said, not at all. Cassandra said, it is very clear he was there for about 3 hours. He questioned as a suspect, then was able to go home after posting $200,000 bail. Nikki Carter said, dude said he instantly feared for his life when he saw y'all. Well, now, Annie Moore said, I feel something had to be wrong with him because who opens a door and just opens fire on a person? Did the news media say he had dementia? All right, so anybody tell me where the knowledge of him being diagnosed with dementia came from. I did not have an opportunity to look it up because this was brought to me this afternoon. Brother Sizemore said, I'm glad the young man is made it out okay. Mim said, now he may have a KKK flashback on the other hand. Yeah, but those are facts, not in evidence, Mimi Mims. And it really isn't fair that what we're doing is we're creating a space that justifies us saying that he's a racist and he's all these other things, but we really have no proof. All we know is that an unfortunate incident, he opened the door. Can somebody tell me what time it was? That's another thing. What time was it when the young man went there? Cassandra said, if someone knocks at my door and does not speak or acknowledge why, guess what? I'm not asking questions if they keep standing there. His grandson said that in an interview. Okay, so Nikki Carter said, from what she has seen, his grandson acknowledged that he has had dementia in the past. I'm sure there are some who would say, well, we need to see the medical documents. If that's what it takes, because clearly, if we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt for dementia, we ought to want to make sure it is legitimate. Brother Sizemore said the story would be how the system deals with this. I agree, Brother Sizemore. It will be. Because at the end of the day, Tyus says, I didn't immediately think that he was a racist, but there is a fear of black men in the U.S., and very possibly he might have felt threatened, especially if he had dementia and did not recognize who was at the door. James said, did something other than ring that bell. I have no relations. And the neighbor said the boy just rang the bell. Sandra said, I was responding, just pretend him, and y'all was there. All right. All right, so let's think about this from an alternative perspective. A man with dementia, somebody's at his door. He goes to the door. He opens the door at 10 o'clock at night and he fires multiple shots. As I would often say on different types of issues, right now there's too many facts that are unknown. We do not know what the boy said. We're saying the neighbor said all the young man did was ring the doorbell. But we don't know for sure that the neighbor heard everything, saw everything, whatever. The neighbor could be absolutely correct. Their vantage point, all they saw was the young man ring the bell. So I am not denying the accuracy of what the neighbor is saying, but that doesn't mean that it makes sense. Nikki Carter says, so it was dark. He's not expecting anyone. Absolutely. Now you guys are starting to come around. Let's paint an accurate picture of just what we know. What we know is it's 10 o'clock at night. So everywhere other than Alaska at 10 o'clock at night, it's dark. All right. So if it's dark, you're a homeowner who never gets anybody coming by your house. You know, and let's say somebody, I am agreeing that the doorbell was probably rung, because if the doorbell wasn't rung, why would the man with dementia go to the door? So I at least believe we can say the young man went to the place. We know we can say he probably rang the door because the man with dementia went to the door. James said, I'm not expecting anyone after 10, but that's not my first act. James, let me ask a question. Do you have dementia? Because it very well may not be James's first response, because James is allegedly a clear, level-headed individual who would be able to process things differently. But what happens if James has dementia? Nikki Carter said, maybe rung several times if y'all was exciting people to be there. All right, that's one theory. Maybe Nikki Carter saying maybe he got there, started ringing on the bell because maybe that the dude wasn't coming to the door fast enough. Maybe he was knocking on the door. Who knows? Cassandra said, may not be yours, but it would be mine at 10, and I ain't expecting nobody. Yup, might not end well, and I don't have dementia. See, Cassandra is an above average, above level head thinking person who understands the law, and she's saying even for her, at 10 o'clock, if I ain't expecting nobody, and you at my door banging and ringing doorbells, I'm not necessarily going to come to the door acting cool. Let me say this to you all as well. I have had my vehicles broken into at my house, and I stay in what most people might consider a well-off area. Sandra said the old man said he rang the doorbell multiple times. I can believe that. We know how impatient young people are. This young there to get his siblings. They wasn't moving fast enough. I can imagine it took the 84-year-old a while to get up. He probably was startled, wasn't expecting nobody. I can understand how somebody ringing the doorbell a bunch of times, you get there, it's a young black man. Maybe you're not that comfortable around young black people. James, not even understanding the law, who fires first? Well, we don't know. And I'm pretty sure we will find out. Kay Michelle, how you doing? We're glad to see you. I'm not certain that we can honestly say that the first thing he did was pull the trigger. Cassandra says she might. But I think it's wrong for us to assess because we're going off what the young man said. The young man said, hey, all I did was ring the doorbell. He came, opened the door, and shot me. And that might be how he remembers it in his perspective. Because it could have seemed like, man, all I did was get shot. But isn't it equally possible after ringing the doorbells a bunch of times, the 84-year-old with dementia opened the door and said, what do you want? And isn't it possible that something was said back that would not justify him being shot? But then again, being there and somebody with dementia being startled, as we already have heard, level-headed legal beagles say, hey, I ain't even got to have dementia. And if you roll up on me at that time of night, it's going to be trouble, trouble. And the mere fact that we have so many different opinions about it, Cassandra said the old didn't first pull the trigger. He checked all his other doors first, then opened the knocked door. Now, Robin Williams, glad to see you. Now, does that change the perspective? If he didn't just open the door and shoot somebody, if he opened the door and said something, and these are facts, not in evidence, because I don't have enough information. I've got the white man saying one thing, the young man who survived is saying one thing. The question is, Ty said, to be fair, Cassandra, I might shoot first too. My husband works at night, and if I'm here by myself, we might have some issues. Nikki Carter said the old man was probably sleeping. So Nikki Carter brings up an excellent point. Somebody with dementia woke up in the middle of the night, staggering, the doorbell is ringing multiple times. Could he have felt some kind of way? James said if the bell rang, why he checking the other doors? James, he got a right to check whatever doors he wants to. The young man was probably knocking as well. Sandra said, read the full CNN article. Annie Moore said the old man also said he was jiggling the doorknob. Okay, people. Now, does that make a difference? If the man says that the dude was ringing the doorbell because he didn't come, the young man started turning the doorknob. Doesn't that make a difference? James said, this ain't the 50s. Call 911. Nikki said, probably got confused. For some reason, I'm agreeing with Nikki Carter. If the old man said, the old 84-year-old man with dementia says, I got startled. I got woke up in the middle of the night. It was somebody fiercely ringing my doorbell and turning the doorknob. Would you shoot somebody turning your doorknob in the middle of the night? If you don't live here, you ain't got no business turning no doorknobs. James said, that's what the man said. That's not what the boy said. The boy is not going to say, I start turning the doorknob. Big Rod said, in a video by a gun instructor, they advise against answering your door with a gun in your hand because you can answer any question through a closed door. All right. That's reasonable. That's very reasonable, Big Rod. So we're not giving the older man absolution, but we're also saying to say race, to say that it was somehow, y'all to start talking about the Klan. Mim said, that does change the game. I'm from New York City, and we don't play that. We don't play putting your hands on the doorknob and turning the doorknob. James said, the man ain't going to say he didn't turn the knob. James, but you don't know that he is. I said, I agree, Sinclair. It's a difference between ringing my door and waiting for me to come and then turning my doorknob like you trying to open it and see. Absolutely, it's a difference. And both of them have a reason to lie. The young man who was shot, clearly, he's dealing with the media and all these other things. And I'm pretty sure he's been prepped. I'm pretty sure somebody told him, hey, don't say you tried to turn the knob. But it's possible. And each of us are saying, okay, matter of fact, let me say this. With all the commotion and all these things, is it possible that the 84-year-old, with or without dementia, thought that the young man was turning the knob if he had just got woken up? Let me tell you something. My mama is 82 years old. 81, 82, one of them 80s. And if you go to her house, she keep them guns blazing. And if you go there and you trying to twist the doorknob, I'm telling her to shoot. Shoot him, shoot him. I'll come bury the body later. Don't worry about it. Nikki Carter said, if y'all was there for a reason, he might jiggle the door. That's true. He may have. And all of these are one person's opinion versus the other person's opinion. But there is a part of this where all of them could be right. The young man may have only rang the doorbell. The man may have been confused and thought he was turning the knob or thought he heard him turning it. All of these things can be true. What we know is this is one of the most unfortunate situations that turned out better than we suspected. And when I say turned out better than what we suspected, because the young man lived and will be all right. And that does not marginalize that. Big Rod said one of my late neighbors had a situation like this happen to him. However, he called the police and was talking with 911 while the intruder was banging on the door, and they instructed him to put his gun down. I said, nope, my kids don't even do that. They ring the doorbell. And again, people, I'm not trying to justify, but it does seem like some of y'all be looking for any reason to say somebody is a racist when the person doing the shooting or killing or whatever is white and the victim is black. We know that young man didn't go to that house for any drama. We know that the young man was there by accident because he got the address wrong. We know that he didn't have any of that foolishness on his mind. But it doesn't change the fact that we're talking about an 84-year-old who may or may not have dementia, but was woken up at 10 o'clock at night. I know sometimes I'm in the bed early. So when people get in the bed and they ain't expecting nobody, and maybe he had went to sleep and was woken up because a young man kept ringing the doorbell, and he probably said, who is it? What do you want? And as he's walking down the hall, Andy Moore said he was doing his mom a favor. I believe that. I do not believe that the young man was at fault in any form or fashion. But I also have to be objective, because let me tell you this. None of us knows, and I say this, listen, I'm saying this as a matter of fact. None of us can ever say we won't kill somebody. Now, we can say we don't want to, but you can find yourselves in situations. This 84-year-old was nervous, okay? He was rightfully nervous because he was in a situation he was unexpecting. The young man was not wrong. He was just incorrect he was at the incorrect location. But when y'all judging, don't judge whether or not, if you believe that the man is a racist, you should have a reason to believe it. But never take away from the facts that each of us on any given day is capable of killing somebody in a certain set of circumstances. I've told y'all before, if you break into somebody's house, if I go to my mom's house and I walk in there and somebody's assaulting her, you dead, it's all outdoors. I'm going to take that up with God. I work for him. God, you know how we got here. If somebody is doing something to your loved ones that you care about, if you love a person and somebody is after them, is stalking them, is doing anything, you have a right to protect. You don't have a right to instigate. And what you should always do is best to avoid negative situations. But when you cannot avoid them, if you cannot avoid them, then you be as humane as possible in your actions. Look, people, I got to go. It's 9 o'clock. We're going to talk about some other things later.
Time, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It is on.
Running in your